disinformation, like many of the challenges that we see, has been, we spent the first few years really admiring the problem, and there have been an ever expanding number of organizations and commercial enterprises and talking head pundits who make their living admiring the problem. But it has not yet been matched by equally vigorous marketplace in potential solutions.
So let's talk about source. So studies have shown that people are more likely to engage with and believe people who are similar to them. So we're more likely to turn to people who look like us, who maybe are from the same nationality, education. Parents may turn to other parents. And one thing that is really important is political affiliation. People are more likely to engage with and believe information coming from others who share their ideology.
Just as a small dosage of a weakened strain triggers the antibody production against the pathogen, inoculation theory argues that pre-bunking, that is, preemptively debunking weakened forms of persuasion, can help build resistance against future persuasion attacks. Or in other words, once you know how a magic trick works, you're unlikely to fall for it again.
They rely on actors that will drive the narratives as a part of financial gain, and that can be through e-payment that they might collect through their sites, swag and logo branded commerce that they push on e-commerce sites, or through the online ads that are delivered next to their content.
And the National Security Communications team at that point was still quite new, and it had this baptism of fire with the Salisbury poisoning. So we had these really interesting partners to work with, and there was no real central hub for dealing with disinformation within government at that point. So part of what we were trying to do with Resist was actually raise everybody's ability to monitor and kind of analyze disinformation. So it became a very analytical process.
Also from a security and geopolitical point of view, it is really, really important to also actively invest into credible and trustworthy sources of information, and not only chase and target the bad. And this is exactly what the Journalism Trust Initiative is all about.
I think from a civil society perspective, my one intervention is pretty massive, but sort of genuine donor coordination, I think, would be hugely valuable to the civil society response, because often it is civil society that is the most credible to local audiences.
For us, for the UK, working together, sharing our expertise is absolutely essential. No single country or government can tackle disinformation alone. That's why the UK is making tackling disinformation a priority for our G7 presidency this year, continuing the recent work we've been doing with Canada. We're working through NATO, with the EU, member states, and with our other partners and allies around the world.
I'd like to ask each of you to think about who has not been included in today's conversation. Who else must we reach out to in order to continue the work of combating disinformation and building societies and children and citizens that are, in the words of one panelist, resilient for the digital age that we're in?